Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts. And I'm excited to kick off Season 2 of our podcast series in partnership with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. It's called We Are REC. Every week we'll release a new episode talking to different people from REC about a host of different topics. We'll get tips for saving money on your electric bill. We'll talk about renewable energy and the impact it can have in our communities. We'll get some behind-the-scenes info about what happens when the power goes out in a storm. Don't miss out on information about community grants, scholarships, REC-hosted events, and more. Get every single episode on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or on Spotify. Just do a quick search for We Are REC. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. As you are listening to this today, it is Tourism Tuesday. However, I do want to clarify that we are recording today's show on Monday morning, and I say that only because the governor is going to do one of his 2 o'clock press conferences this afternoon, which could mean that something you're hearing on the air now has actually changed since we recorded it. Gina Hilliard and Edie is on the screen with me today via Zoom. Edie's sitting way far back in the corner, but how are y'all holding up over at the Luray Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Center?
We're doing good. We are managing. We're not open to the public, but we are here and rotating our shifts. Some are working from home while others are in the office, and we'll rotate. That way we are still able to answer phone calls and questions and keep our members in our community up to date as much as possible with everything going on.
So I mentioned a second ago that we're recording this on a Monday, and the governor's going to do one of his 2 o'clock press conferences today. But we know that right now, as you and I are sitting here, that phase 1 has begun. So what does phase 1 look like for you in Luray and Page County?
So phase 1 started this past Friday, the 15th. And it means a lot of different things. It's our restaurants are able to have guests at their outdoor seating if they choose. And some have taken advantage of that. We have a couple restaurants that are filling 50% capacity of their restaurants for their outdoor seating. A lot more of our shops are opening back up and, allowing people to come in and shop in their stores. Our lodging is now also back open, including our campgrounds. So we're now getting in the visitors to actually stay in Page County and enjoy the beautiful scenery. There's not a lot that they can go do in regards to our attractions yet. They're still, closed down, but they just want to be able to get away from wherever they're currently living and just to be able to enjoy the nature and the beautiful sceneries and the mountains that we have that surround us, or the Shenandoah River. A lot of people kind of opened up the canoes this weekend, and I saw several of those out and about. So they were able to get out on the river this weekend and enjoy the beautiful weather.
I think that's probably one of the biggest perks that you will have in Luray Page County, because you have this destination where, while the attractions are great and they are important to a certain degree, a lot of people come to Page County because of the nature and the scenery and the river. So they can still come, stay in the cabins, and still kind of be self-isolating, keep their social distance, but be out of whatever apartment or house they've been quarantined in for the last several months.
Right. It just gives them a nice break. And so even though our Shenandoah National Park is still currently closed, or Luray Caverns, our biggest, largest attractions that we have, there's still so much more to do. They can go hiking in the George Washington National Forest, or down our Greenway, or go kayaking, canoeing, tubing down the Shenandoah River, or just, stay and hang out in the cabin, enjoy the fire pit and the hot tub and just the beautiful scenery that's around. Still be able to use our restaurants. You still get to go orders or take advantage of the outdoor seating, and then, the shopping. So we're slowly opening up. And so we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we're looking forward to moving into the further phases.
You mentioned to me before we started recording for the radio show that some of the shops were open. And I think one of them that you mentioned is one of those outdoor type places that sell things for hikers, for people that want to be outdoors. I'm sure they were very excited to be able to open, at least in some capacity, especially given the fact that we're coming up on Memorial Day weekend and the weather forecast is going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, it's supposed to be not nice during the week, but come the weekend for the holiday, it's supposed to be beautiful. So I'm sure that we're going to be a lot more busier. Our shops and our restaurants are going to be a lot more busier. And yes, Appalachian Trail Outfitters has opened up, and saw a lot of business with them this weekend, to where they're selling, their different equipment and clothes or whatnot. The locals are really still supporting also our business community, which is a great thing to see and to also hear.
And some of the restaurants in particular that have outdoor seating have also chosen not to necessarily reopen that piece of their business, but they're still doing curbside, they're still doing takeout, they're still doing the same things that they have been doing the last several months. They've just opted to hang tight a little bit longer before they offer in-house or outdoor seating. Is that right?
That is correct. And for different reasons. I mean, some of the outdoor seating they already had was, really small, on the small side. So it didn't seem worth it for them to open up just for 50% capacity, which would only be just a couple people. And then others just want to, take it a little bit slower, and for the health and the safety of their employees and as well as their guests. So yes, some are still doing strictly takeout and delivery, which is working great for them right now. And it gives them a little bit longer to plan and be ready to open up whenever they can maybe, start opening up even more for the governor.
I know you've got two small kids. What's it been like for you as a parent being home and not having them be able to participate in all of the activities that I know they were involved in? Has it been a good thing? Has it been a relieving thing? What's it been like for you?
It's been a mixture. We are very active family. The kids were looking forward for softball season to get started. We were already actually practicing with my daughter, and then we had stopped that, and so there hasn't been a season. So it's sad in regards to where I can't get to see them play and enjoy and improve in those things, or just be able to go out and about and do what we want to do when we want to do it. They haven't even been to any stores or anything like that. But at the same time, I've actually enjoyed being home with the family and getting more projects done around the house and just hanging out with the kids one-on-one. And doing more activities with them instead of, constantly rushing from one activity to the other activity. So I've enjoyed it. It's been bittersweet.
So Edie, I follow you on Twitter, and I know that you are at best a hermit regardless of a health pandemic, and you've been playing a whole lot of video games. Have you gotten better at any of your video games since you've been working from home?
I'm always good at video games, Janet. But yeah, no, I mean, that's one thing that Hallie and I enjoy. It's our kind of unwind thing, and we can't go anywhere even if we wanted to. So that's basically what we're doing, just playing lots of PlayStation and the Nintendo Switch. Lots of cooking, too.
Well, and it's interesting too, Gina. I've been doing a lot of radio shows in partnership with Valley Health, and a couple of the doctors, a couple of weeks ago, I had on Dr. Gaither, who's a cardiologist at Valley Health, and he talked about the importance of still getting outside and exercising, and even mentioned, I believe, the Greenway. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that are taking advantage of the Greenway now that probably didn't before because they knew it was in their backyard, but we tend to overlook things that are in our backyard if we don't have a reason necessarily to go visit them.
Right. And it has been used. It's always been used, but like you said, in regards to the ones who haven't, I'm sure that they're wanting to get out and enjoy the fresh air and just to be able to do something. So the Greenway is definitely being utilized and a lot more. But everybody's, keeping within the guidelines and keeping their distance while practicing the social distance of the 6-foot rule. But it's good to see, our businesses and our community, thriving and getting back to the norm of what that will be.
people have also
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about the overall tourism perspective and then a little bit too about the chamber, because you're in this unique position where the Chamber of Commerce also operates the visitor center and manages the tourism. So you've kind of had to play many roles over the last couple of months. Can we talk a little bit about where we are with that and how phase one is impacting it?
We sure can.
All right, we will do that when we come back. We are pre-recording today's conversation. We are talking to Gina and Edie from the Luray Page Chamber of Commerce. It is Tourism Tuesday as you are listening to this. However, we are recording it on a Monday morning. I am Janet Michael, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Expecting to hear a commercial? That's what this is, sorta. First, I want to thank you for listening to the Valley Today podcast. You're one of thousands who listen to the show this way every month. Sometimes it's because our listeners are busy and they want to listen when it fits their schedule, or it's a guest of the show who want to hear what they sounded like when they were on the radio. We even have a few binge listeners who listen to a week's worth at a time. Can you even imagine? So if you want those people, your potential customers, to hear your message, then this could have been your ad. And the bonus, your commercial isn't restricted to just 30 or 60 seconds. You can take up to 2 minutes to talk to those customers, and there's even the opportunity to be an exclusive sponsor of the Valley Today podcast, which also gets you on-air mentions at the end of every show. If any of this sounds interesting to you, give me a call at the station, 540-635-4121, or send me an email to janet@theriver953.com. You can also find all my contact info by searching for me on theriver953.com. Welcome back to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday. As you are listening to this, it is the Luray Page County edition of Tourism Tuesday, recorded on a Monday morning with Gina and Edie from Luray Page Chamber of Commerce. So, Gina, we were talking in the first segment about the governor's order, or the phase one of reopening, and the impact that it's had on some of the businesses, tourism, non-tourism related, in Luray and Page County. You're in a unique position because the Chamber of Commerce also manages the visitor center and kind of manages the tourism program as a whole. I would imagine you've been working pretty closely with the Virginia Tourism VTC to kind of figure out what's going on and how and what the messaging should be.
Absolutely. They have produced local several Zoom conference calls. So every Monday and Thursday, I'm on a conference Zoom call getting updates from them and kind of following their lead on what they've been doing in regards to, when they shut down their visitor centers, or the new campaigns that they're trying to put out to encourage people to, not kind of go quiet and dark. So we've partnered with them with a campaign called "We'll Be Waiting for You." And that way we're just, Page County is top of mind for our visitors. So every time we post on social media, we're letting them know that even though it's unsafe, or, the stay-at-home orders and you can't travel right now, to not cancel basically your plans. Let's postpone them, reschedule them for the fall, come visit us when it's safe to travel, when everything's lifted again. And that basically keep us top of mind. We also worked with VTC in regards to their love letter campaign. They wanted to share the love. And so people were creating different loves signs from their homes and things like that and sharing them on social media. So definitely in contact with VTC, as far as also VRLTA, which is Virginia Restaurant Travel Lodging Association, and keeping updated with what they've been doing and pushing for the businesses in the hospitality industry. So it's been a great partnership in working with them. I'm also in constant with our local DMOs. We are on a monthly call as well, or now more frequently with emails, and just kind of getting ideas of what each one of us are doing. So that way we're kind of opening all up at the same time and following the same protocols. And that way, people don't see, when they travel, they don't see lines in regards to the different regions or the different counties. So we just want to make sure that we're working together and supporting one another for our visitors' safety.
And I know you and I had conversations early on when the decision was made to kind of pull the plug on the actual advertising and marketing of please come here because people couldn't come here anymore. That was a really tough decision for you. I know that you struggled with that because you understood why you had to do it, but it was still a tough thing to have to say, okay, we're not going to spend any money telling people to come here anymore. Are you excited or anxious to be able to start that back up again?
We are. We're slowly getting that together, and for the month of June, since everything's opening back up, we're in phase one, and we're slowly trying to get our advertising back up. You will start seeing Page County on digital and more on advertising, things like that. So I am excited to get that back rolling, but it was not wise. Like I said, we followed VTC's protocol. They stopped all their, paid advertising as well and marketing. So we stopped ours. It was no point to tell people to come here when there was nowhere for them to stay or everything was pretty much shut down and closed. And that we were under the orders of stay home and stay safe and not travel. So it was a tough decision, but we are eager to start that marketing campaign back up and get started and getting our visitors to come back to Page County.
And I would imagine that having that relationship with tourism and VTC really does kind of spill over into the chamber piece of it, because I know that advice from a chamber to a business is very similar to the "we'll be waiting for you" campaign. I know that you've told businesses you can't just go dark. You have to kind of give that business advice. How has it been from the chamber perspective, just trying to be the rallying cry to hang in there and don't give up?
It's been good. I've partnered with, and we work very closely together with the three towns, the three managers, as well as Liz at the county, and then Meredith with the downtown initiative. And it's been a great partnership. We're also on a weekly call just to help out our businesses and how we can help them through this time. A lot of discussions was anything from the loans that was, coming out or signage or just a message and help them. So now we have these great, wonderful, beautiful pink and yellow and white signs that are throughout the community, letting people know that, they're open. You can come and either pick up curbside, takeout, or even have delivery. Other signs are, letting people know that they're open, but they're practicing proper safety protocols and distancing and to call ahead for more information. So our job at the chamber is, and that's why we wanted to stay here, be able to answer phone calls and help our members in our community during this time and not go quiet. We are one of the leading organizations in this community, and we needed to be able to be here and support our community and our members and our businesses. And so that's what we did, and it's been a great partnership with the other towns and the county.
And I know you've spent a lot of time researching and figuring out resources, because you're probably getting a lot of calls from businesses, from organizations, even from people who may want to travel into the area asking questions about stuff. So you've had to know at least a little bit about all of these loans and about what phase one means, and then kind of redirect people out, juggling all of the resources to know who to send to who, depending on the question they're asking. You probably have really gotten a whole lot smarter in the middle of all of this.
Well, my entire staff has. A lot of them have done a great job in regards to calling our businesses to find out if they are open or what they're offering, or now that outdoor dining is available, which ones are doing that. So when we are getting those phone calls from the visitors, we can be able to inform them to the best of our knowledge. And Edie's done a great job with, keeping social media up on the chamber side, letting people know of the updated restaurant list or the updated shops list and things like that. So people see, who is offering what and what hours, they are open. So it has been an education. The information that we've put out has been great. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our community and our members thanking us for being there and putting out that information, whether it's information from the governor or from VTC or from BRLTA, or just the loan information that we're getting from SBDC or SBA, and just letting people know to, contact your local banks and have them walk you through and help you out. So it's been good, even though it's been, sad during this crisis. We're trying to keep it positive, and we know that we will bounce back on the tourism side and on the business side.
So what does reopening look like for you? Because is there a scenario where the chamber opens, but the visitor center doesn't, or the visitor center opens, or the chamber doesn't? What is the status? Do you guys have a plan yet for when you'll reopen one or the other or both?
So we are currently working on that now. We want to make sure that everything is safe for the staff that works here. So we are getting plexiglass installed at the front desk, and we already have all of our masks, so I'm going to make the staff require masks. We are gathering that information now. We're taking the lead from BTC, but when we do open, the chamber and the visitor center will be open as one, and we will go back to semi-normal hours. Right now we're contemplating being open 9 to 4 instead of 9 to 5. That way we have that last hour of the day to thoroughly clean the visitor center and get everything ready to go for the next day. We haven't officially put out the date yet, but we will be deciding that this week, and so that information will be out very soon. But we just want to make sure that our staff is safe, and then the visitors who are coming in to find out information are also safe.
And I know that's been an important piece of this, I think, for every business, but I know it's been particularly important to you, is making sure that staff stays safe. And because you are a place that people tend to come to for information, you certainly didn't want to put anybody at risk when they were trying to do that.
Right. With this opening back up and then us potentially opening up, we are looking at, people who are in certain areas that had the high volume of positive results and things like that. They want to get it. So we want to make sure that both sides are safe. They're traveling and they're using the CDC guidelines as well for their travel. And then also here, the staff here at the office is safe as well.
Through all of this, none of your social media has been closed necessarily. Edie has been making Facebook posts and Instagram posts. She's been putting things on Twitter. Edie, where can people find you on all of those social networks so that when things start to change and you have your date and know what your plan is, that's going to be a good place for them to go. So how do they find you everywhere?
So we have a lot of different social medias. Our main pages are Facebook, obviously, which is Luray Page County Chamber of Commerce. Instagram is Luray Page County Chamber, and Twitter is Luray Page County Chamber and Visitor Center. We actually have started new Facebooks and Instagram specifically geared towards tourism. Facebook is Luray Page County Visitor Center, and it's the same for Instagram.
And that's been one of the silver linings, I think, to this pandemic cloud, is that it's given you an opportunity to kind of take a look at all of your marketing pieces and decide what's working for us and what do we need to do a little differently. You've been able to implement some of those things.
Oh yeah, it's been tough for Facebook because I'm used to spotlighting members, but we've kind of put a halt to that just because so many places have had to close. But it's been really good because we have been able to start new pages geared towards tourism. So that way visitors don't have to weed through all the chamber stuff just to find the info they want. So it's been good to be able to, start new stuff geared towards tourism as well as the chamber.
And Gina, from a chamber events perspective, I know you've been doing a lot of them virtually. You've been doing Zoom meetings and business after hours and things like that virtually. Do you think that in some form may continue even after you open, simply because we're still going to be limited in the number of people that can be in a room and the distance they have to stay from each other?
Yes, we will absolutely continue the virtual events for a while. Especially during phase 1, since there's only allowed, 10 people, potentially even during phase 2, because even phase 2, we know what the governor puts out, but as of right now, it's, 50 people. And some of our events like this after hours gets more than 50 people. And I really don't want to have to turn anybody away, letting them know we're at that limit. But then also, depending on where we host those things, sometimes they're at smaller locations. So to get 50 people, it's going to be probably too many, and we're not going to be able to practice the proper social distancing. So we might not be able to bring back our in-person events till probably phase 3 is what we're looking at.
And you mentioned earlier, I think, or maybe it's just because I've attended one, you're doing a couple of new things like the coffee break meetups. I attended the one last week. When do you have those and how can somebody participate in one of the coffee breaks?
So we have those every Tuesday. So they're once a week, every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We have a Facebook event that they could click on and learn more about. And then the information to sign into Zoom, they do not have to sign up ahead of time. They could just click on the Zoom link that's in Facebook and click on it and join at that time and be able to hear what we're talking about or communicate and ask questions. Same goes with our business after hours. Those are every other Thursday. So our next one isn't until the 28th, Thursday, May the 28th. And those are from 5 to 6. And that is just a time for us just to not really talk business, but more just kind of relax, be able to see one another since we, can't be in person together and play games. We've played one where we ask questions. We've done another one where we did a scavenger hunt. So we're just trying to, lighten the mood and have everybody, take a mental break from, everything that's going on.
I haven't been able to make one of the virtual business after hours, but I'm going to write that one down and see. But I'm not going to win any games because I can't answer any questions or do any scavenger hunts. I haven't been in Page County in quite a while now, so I need to come reacclimate myself.
Hunt is things like, how far can you reach without getting up out of your seat from where you're sitting? We'll ask certain things. Do you have a pet or a live animal, or do you have like an orange coffee cup that you can grab within, distance, or, a pencil or a pen, or, just different things. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that sounds awesome. So I will put the links to all of your social media networks up on the show notes page, along with, of course, the link to your website. Gina, Edie, thank you guys for meeting me on Zoom this morning to record today's show. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having us. We're excited to get this information out, let everybody know that our businesses in Page County are open, and when everybody feels comfortable and wants to travel, we are open, and our lodging is open, and we welcome you.
And we'll keep our fingers crossed that by May, we might be back to some regular schedule or normal recording, maybe.
Hopefully.
Yes, I miss you.
Well, we are going to wrap up today's episode of Tourism Tuesday. Again, we recorded it on Monday morning. We have been chatting with Gina and Edie from the Luray Page Chamber of Commerce. And again, I'll put all of that information up on the show notes page. Tomorrow we are tomorrow we are feeding Clark County. And we're going to be talking with Presto Dinners and Blue Ridge Insurance about a program allowing them to feed people in Clark County who may not otherwise have access to really good meals. So we're going to have Jonathan on the show to talk about that tomorrow. Meet me back here a few minutes after noon, and I will have that show all geared up and ready to go for you.